Greetings and welcome to Chant Day. We are here on the 15th of May. My mom always says when the 15th of the month comes, it's the end of the month. It's the end of the month. It goes by fast. So, as we come together today for the Psalm 115, it's titled, To Your Name Give Glory. And the name of the Most High is goodness, mercy, righteousness. Mankind has gotten into this debate of a name over this name over that name, and all of this. So, in terms of the name, we have to look and peel off what that name means behind that name. Just like when we look at God, we speak of God is love, right? God is compassion, kindness. Jesus is merciful and long suffering and, compassionate and, humble and has humility when he went to the well and gave the Samaritan woman, water, living water, even though she was a Samaritan and they weren't supposed to be speaking to each other. He broke the rules when it comes to love and kindness and limitations on that. We are to be kind to those who are not kind to us. We are to show them what kindness is. And when people are going into religion and talking about certain names, but yet they are doing the opposite of what that name is. They're not giving mercy and compassion to folks with mental illness. They are talking behind people's back about mental illness. Oh, she crazy. Oh, she this. Oh, she that. Oh, she alcoholic. Oh, she this. But what is it that you need to do is to talk and commune with God, communicate with God about that person, so that you can have a better awareness of what that person may be going through. Because you can see somebody physically, but on the inside, you don't know what they're going through. And people have deep seated mental health issues. So, as a family scientist, it is my job as a family scientist to help families to see themselves and see their shortcomings. And sometimes families don't want to see that. Families rather stay within the dysfunction, and they've made the dysfunction and normalized it. So when we look at the Psalm today, 115, where we are to cause no harm to folks. We are to walk in the light of righteousness. And in the Psalm today, 115, to the name of righteousness, whatever you want to name that's your personal business. Give glory to that name. So when I call Kadamawe, the ancients of ancients of ancients, that's personal to me. And when somebody says Jesus, that's personal to them. But the question is, are those who are calling these names, goodness, mercy, kindness, righteousness, love, are they perpetuating that in their lives? Are they being that to other people? Are they? Or are they just borrowing and not repaying? Are they takers and not givers? Are they leeches? Just suck on you and leech you out. What are you representing? When you call yourself a Christian and you call yourself representing Jesus, what are you doing? And then you call yourself a Rastafari. What are you doing? You doing the opposite of that? So I and I self a child of the Most High, a child of righteousness, a child of goodness and mercy and kindness and love and compassion. That is what I call myself. You're not going to box me in a box and put me somewhere where you think I need to go. That is not, I bust out just like Jesus bust out of the boxes. I'm not in the box that you put me in. All right? I identify as a black woman. I do not use pronouns he, she, they, them. I don't. I'm going to the original, to the source of what that is. So call me beautiful. Do not call me he, she, shem, them, or they. I am neither of that. I am not a pronoun. Okay? So in verse 1, we look at in verse 1, and I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of the Most High. Selah and Selah again, as I drink my roasted roots tea. Amazing. I just got a quote from, who was it? This quote is from Emily Dickinson in the 1800s. She was a poet. I'm glad they're giving her that title because back then a woman couldn't write, a woman couldn't speak, a woman couldn't do nothing. And Emily Dickinson took her own life. Okay, that's what they're saying. That's what they're speaking that happened. Well, she has a quote. It says, "Find happiness in life." And she uses the word ecstasy. So find tranquility in life. The mere sense of living is joy enough. And this is a person who took her own life. Okay. Emily Dickinson, she was an American poet, little known during her life. She has since been regarded as one of the most important figures. During her time of her life, she wasn't. Okay. I'm trying to see what. So, and she had grief. She suffered from grief. Um, and let's see. She suffered from severe high blood pressure, and it led to a heart failure or a brain hemorrhage. She had Bright's disease. Um, and she spent the rest of her time writing up until her death, locked in her room. So I don't think she committed suicide. She had 2.5 years of ill health. Um, yeah, she had, so I don't think she committed suicide. I always thought she did, but she did not commit suicide. Interesting enough, we are looking at, and she was 55 years old. She was just as old in her age as I am. So, yep, she was 55 in 1886. And the reason I'm bringing her into this is because the quote, she talks about life and joy and the joy of living. We have so many people in our society, in our world, that are suffering from depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, diabetes. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about the physical ailments and mental and emotional and social ailments that people are suffering from. And it's a reality. So when I look at the psalm today, to the name of God, give glory, to the name of righteousness and perfect love, give glory. I look at it as a way out for folks that are suffering. Alcohol abuse is a very real disease. Alcoholism is a disease. When people need alcohol every day or every other day or every other day, it's and then when they are using alcohol in a way, because alcohol is a depressant. It's a depressant, right? I was craving a beer the other day. I wanted a Corona extra, like ah. So but it's not something I remember when I was an alcoholic. I drank 6 packs of beer in one sitting. I drank absolute vodka. You know, it had to be chilled in the freezer, and so I would get induced with alcohol to the point where I'm throwing up. So it hurt my liver. It impacted my liver to this day. And stopping drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, all of that causes you to deteriorate very, very fast. And I'm glad that that's something that's not in my wheelhouse anymore. I may have a, like I said, a beer once in a while, but to sit there and to drink alcohol, back to back to back to back, that you're hiding from something. You're trying to comfort something when our comforter is already there, and we're drowning that original comforter with something that is false. So let's get to the psalm today as we go 10 minutes, 12 minutes into the Chant a Psalm a day. So the psalm today is 115. And Psalm 115 begins with, not to I and I, O Most High, not to I and I, but to the name of the Most High give glory. Now, this is where we have a fight, an infighting about among the religious community. The name. This name is higher than that name, and this name is above all name, and all this people go into, and it's a infighting among religions about the name, and that's where the division comes in. So it's not about I and I or us. It's about righteousness, mercy, love, and kindness. And that is what the name represents. So, for the sake of the Most High's steadfast love and faithfulness, it's the reason for the season. It's the reason for giving that name of righteousness glory and honor and respect and sacred commune. You're communing with that. So for the sake of the Most High steadfast love and faithfulness. And I don't pray. I commune with God. I don't pray. Pray is also known as something that is about to be eaten up. So I am not going to pray for you to be eaten up, even though my intention is not for that, but the words I'm using has that vibration. Okay, so I'm not going to pray for you. I'm going to commune with the Most High on your behalf. I'm going to commune. I'm going to communicate with the Most High. I'm going to sit in my sacred place, my happy place, and have a communication with the Most High. I'm not going to have a con the Most High. The Most High knows your heart. So it's no conversation, conning. It is communing, communicating with the Most High in a space of, please help this person. I'm calling the name of this person. You call their first name, their last name, and you call their name and you speak to the Most High on behalf of that person, for that person's eyes to be open, for that person's ears to be open, for that person's heart to be open to receive love, kindness, mercy, and humility, to receive that. I ask and I commune with the Most High for folks that are struggling with depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideations, that the Most High will lift them up out of those dark, out of those despair places. I don't want to say dark. I almost said that. The Most High to lift them up out of this depression, despair, oppression, because that's what all that anxiety is. It's oppressive. It's oppressive. It's part of the enemy's schemes to make you fold, to make you give up on yourself, to give up on life, because the Most High is life. So when you give up on life, you're giving up on the Most High. You're giving up on all the bless that the Most High has put forth for you. So remember, it's for the sake of the Most High's steadfast love and faithfulness. The Most High is steadfast and gonna be steadfast, like on the time, on time, every time. And faithfulness. Faithfulness is a very important piece of this puzzle of the name of glory. To that name we give glory. And that name is steadfast love. That name is faithfulness. That name is love and humility and compassion. That is what all that is. So in verse 2 now, there's a question. Why should the nations speak? Where is their God? This is what the nations are talking about. This is what the nations spoke about to Rastafarians. Where is your God? It's just this is the same thing. And then the answer comes in verse 3. Our God is in the heavens and does all that the God pleases to do. So our God is in the isle of places, is in the happy spaces, is in the sacred ancient space, right? That is where righteousness is. Compassion, love, mercy is sitting on the righteousness of the Father and the Blessed Mother. So our Almighty is in a heavenly place, in a righteous place, in a kind, merciful place. That is what heaven is. There's no death, the sting of death can't happen. You're just in a righteousness, in love, where righteousness covers the earth as the water covers the sea. This is what is happening. So when we look at the question of where is the Most High, the answer comes, the Most High is above. Seek what is above, not what's below, right? Seek what is above. So in verse 4, it talks about the nation's idols. The nation's idols are silver and gold. Yes, the work of human hands. They have mouths but do not speak, eyes but do not see. They have ears but do not listen, noses but do not smell. They have hands but do not feel, feet but do not walk, and they do not make a sound in their throat. Those that make these idols become as these idols. So do all that trust in these idols. So you are going to become what you trust in. When you trust in the world, you trust in the doctor, you trust in things of this world that are material things, you're going to what? You're going to become just like that. You're going to become just like that. I trust in myself that I am able to use my legs to walk. Even though I have a vehicle where I'm from in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands, my Jeep is there, right? I pay every month on it. But here in the US, I don't have a vehicle. I'm walking. However, I have sacrificed a vehicle for myself here in the US so another family can have a vehicle. That's what I've done. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm just expressing that as a form of testimony that we have to put others before ourselves. What we need and what we have to have should be second to what somebody else needs. That's why when if you have a car in a garage sitting down someplace, somebody can use it, right? So donate that vehicle to someone who is in need of a vehicle. Donate it and sacrifice, give to someone else who has little or nothing. So I trust in the Most High, and I will become like the Most High. I will become kind, compassionate, merciful, humble, have humility. I'm going to become that I trust. So when you trust in things and in people, you're going to become just like that. Yeah, that's what's happening. And as a family scientist, when I talk to families and tell them, look, there's a dysfunction. You calling on Jesus, but then you're so far from him. Sometimes the families get upset, like, what are you talking? Who are you talking about? And what is it? And curse me out. However, you got to learn to take what I'm speaking of, because I have that knowledge and I have that experience with my own children and family, and my own son with mental health challenges, and the family not being supportive of that mental health because they themselves maybe have mental health and they themselves may not know how to deal with that. So that's where a family scientist comes in, family therapist comes in, family support. Families need support. So we don't want to trust in idols, because idols don't speak, they don't see, they don't listen, they don't smell, they don't feel, they don't walk, they don't sound, they don't make a sound. They don't do that. So we trust in the Most High, as verse 9 shouts with exclamation marks. Oh, I trust in the Most High. The Most High is I and I's strength and I and I's shield. But see, what has happened is that religion has separated human beings from the knowledge of the Most High. They call that righteousness, love, and mercy, God, Lord, and Jesus. And that's what people are supposed to call, when in fact you're calling on all of the attributes of that one that is merciful, kind, respectful, honest, integrity, all of that, righteousness, love, faithfulness, all of that, tranquility, all of that represents the Most High. So you're trusting in that. And that is your strength and that is your shield. You can put a name on it if you want to, but guess what? You better live what's behind that name. So in verse 10, it's calling on the house of Aaron. You got to trust in the Most High. The Most High is a strength and a shield. Righteousness is that strength and that shield. I that fear the Most High trust in the Most High. And that Most High is I and I strength and I shield. I fear the Most High to the point where I'm going to be careful with how I speak to you. I'm going to be careful with how I deal with you, because I fear that one that is real and alive within me. And having that knowledge can get you in trouble, because you're riding off of something people don't see. And they're like, how are you so happy? How are you so glowing and so blessed and highly favored and so wonderfully made? You're healthy, you're walking, you're eating right. How are you doing all this? Your son passed away. How are you coping with all of this? It is because I have the knowledge and awareness that righteousness dwells within me. So I have to keep pouring in goodness and mercy. I have to pour out the grief. I have to pour out the depression, pour out the anxiety, pour out the oppressiveness, and receive all of the bountiful bless that comes with service, that comes with the Most High. So we see that in verse 14, in actually verse 12, it's talking about the Most High has remembered I and will bless I, will bless the house of I and will bless the house of I. So you call on on your house, the house of Sewer, the house of Johnson, the house of Tivis, my one of my colleagues. So you're blessing the house of these families. These are families. The Most High will bless the house of Aaron, will bless the house and will bless those who fear the Most High, both the small and the great. So in verse 14, I love this verse. May the Most High give you increase, you and your children. May the Most High be blessed. May the Most High, may I be blessed by the Most High who made heaven and earth. Exclamation mark. So we're giving the acknowledgement of this one and the works of this one, the creating of the heaven and the earth, the creator of I on the earth, as having dominion over this planet to take care of it. For the righteousness will cover the earth as the water cover the sea, and that's what we're building forward towards. So verse 16, it keeps on about the heavens are the Most High's heavens, but the earth the Most High has given to the children of man. And I just mentioned that we have been entrusted with the earth to take care of it and not litter, and not cause it to spaz, because this is what the earthquakes are. We're causing the earth to spaz. We're causing the tornadoes. We're causing all the hurricanes. Man has caused this. So the earth has been given to I. And in verse 17, the dead do not chant Isis to the Most High, nor do any who go down into silence. So when someone passes away from this earth, the voice is no longer heard. The voice to chant Isis is no longer heard because they're a void of life. And they do not chant to the Lord, nor do those that go down into silence. So that silence, that mute and words that are not coming out, they cannot give chanting to the Most High. They cannot chant a melody to the Most High. So in verse 18, as this Psalm 115 comes to an end, it's like, you know what? We're going to bless the Most High. We know this is happening. We're not dead. We're alive. And in that life, we're going to bless the Most High from this time forth and for all time to come. And it ends with praise the Lord. I don't use the word praise or pray. I use chant a song to the Most High. Chant a melody. Make music on the instruments to the Most High. This is how I use that word. I dive deep into the word so that we can be liberated and break the chains that have been created through religion, through education, through the church, through healthcare, through all these different systems. Okay, we're breaking the chains of that because healthcare is existing, but is existing as a monetary capitalistic situation. It's not existing to really heal people. Okay, it's not. It's filled with drugs and lies and drugs and disorders upon disorders and creating diseases to create economic capitalistic funnel cash cow and suck the blood of the innocent every day through those different systems. So I love the Most High, and I'm going to chant Psalms all day long, every day long, and all day. That's what's going to happen. So I want to go to the word today, and I thank you, Selah and Selah, again for the Psalm 115 on the 15th of May. So the word today is divine. Each of the world's people is a divine being, and I just mentioned that the Most High dwells within, and because of that indwelling, you are divinely created. I didn't know that until I got older. I got up in age, and I realized that, and I'm like, wait a minute. God created I in God's image. And what is that image? And what is God? God is righteousness, love, and kindness, and mercy, compassion, all of that, right? That has been planted within I. So we have to then sow that seed. We have to sow it. Sow it in the works that we do. Sow it in the people that we meet. Sow it in our jobs. Sow it working in our families. We have to sow that. So the divine is the most beautiful word. I'm going to chant this word divine. As I have grown in awareness of I divine nature, I relationship with the Most High has deepened and evolved. Exactly what I just said. As I got older, I got aware. The gifts of God, these are the gifts of God: grace, love, tranquility, strength, are not for me to ask for. They are within I to express as only I can. I knowledge and standing firm of the nature of the Most High God has also grown to include I human family. Each member a righteous being expressing divine gifts as only each family member can. So we talk about family as I began this chant of psalm, and look, family, human family is included in the word divine. And knowing this changes I relationship to others. Rather than focusing on I differences, I can now look beyond differences to behold I oneness, I similarity, I commonality, I kindred lives as divine beings. So as awareness of I shared divinity dawns in every heart, the world will grow in harmony and cooperation. I are in the Most High. I are divine. So I love that. Isn't that the most beautiful word of the day? Divine. Keep yourself in a divine order. Divine order. That means your kitchen is clean, your bathroom is clean. After you use the sink, you wipe it out. After you use the shower, you clean it out. That's divine order. Your papers and your desk are cleared and clean. Things are put away that you're not using anymore. So your bed is made up. You have a divine order. So you're expressing these gifts in these different ways of in your family, in your home. So Matthew chapter 5 verse 14, you are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. So Matthew 5, chapter 5, dive deeper into that, because it is giving just a verse. You are the light of the world, and who is you? And this city that's built on a hill cannot be hidden. So you seek for what's above, right? When I go to my parents' house, I have to walk up this hill. It's so I'm walking, and I'm going, and my legs are like, and my legs get a workout when I'm walking up there. So it's not hidden. I had to I built a deck. Well, I had someone build this deck in honor of my son that passed away. It's Callus's deck. And this deck has a lattice work that goes up high, so you can't fall over the deck. I fell over when I was 2 years old or 1 year old. I fell over that same, space there, and was under the house. So because of that, I created this big this lattice work that goes up to, nobody can fall over. And my parents like, we can't see out with this thing in it. So, but it's interesting that a city built on a hill cannot be hidden. And it's interesting because in Ethiopia, the Lalibela church wasn't built on a hill, because then you could see it. It was built for strategic political purposes, where it was built in the rocks. And it's interesting because Matthew chapter 5, verse 15 is talking about that. That reality that building something up high, it can't be hidden. So I would like to go into Matthew chapter 5, verse 14 into more detail. However, we're going to go on to our verse of the day. And this word of the day, divine, I love that because it gives a good sense of purpose with ourselves, to have a purpose so we can be able to get out of depressive situations and suicidal ideations. We can get out of those things when we have that knowledge that we are divinely made and we are created in that image that is righteousness, mercy, kindness, and love. So our verse today is coming from Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 5. As you do not know the path of the wind, you don't know the path of the wind, or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot know the work of God, the maker of all things. Okay, Ecclesiastes 11:5. This is Ecclesiastes 11:5 is like, look, you better know your place and know your role, because you don't know the path of the wind. You're not the creator of the wind, or you don't know how the body is formed inside the mother's womb, how that happens so mystically or divinely, I should speak of instead of mystically, but divinely, as we see the word today, divine. So the body is formed in the mother's womb in a divine way. We can't acknowledge that. The work of the Most High, the maker of all things. So we got to humble ourselves. We got to humble ourselves, and we got to be to the point of, look, I am going to step aside and let the Most High do the Most High's thing. Do your thing, because that's the maker of all things, is the Most High. You're going to do your thing. And that is the end of this chant a psalm today, because my hot roasted roots is finito. Selah and Selah again. Bless that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of the Most High. With the verse of the day, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 5. Chanting the psalm today, 115. To the name of Jah, give glory. We're giving glory to the righteousness, kindness, mercy, and love. That is the name of glory. That is the name of God, is love and righteousness. And then we had the word today, divine. Each of the world's people is a divine being. Whenever I see somebody, I'm looking at the product of the Most High, like, until they show me differently, right? I'm looking at another divine being. So when we talk about violence and hurting someone else, we're hurting ourselves. We're hurting ourselves when we do that. We pick up arms and go in and be violent. We're hurting ourselves, because that's another divine being. Look at my wrap is slowly sliding off. So that is another divine being. And in that divine being, that is where that Most High exists. That righteousness, that love, that kindness, that mercy, all of that is embodied in that divinity. So that is our word today, divine. We did our verse today from Ecclesiastes. We did our Psalm 115. And let's look at Max Lucado's commentary. He's looking at Romans chapter 3, verse 23 to 24. And in Romans chapter 3, verse 23 to 24, it talks about everyone has sinned and fallen short of God's glorious standard. Everyone. So when people say, oh, you think you're better than everybody, I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I've fallen short of the glory. And when I call out folks falling short of the glory, I'm calling out myself first. Okay? As a family scientist and as a family educator and as a mother of a child that had mental illness and that passed away, it's important that we talk about these things. We talk about families because families are dysfunctional and they are living within that dysfunction and thinking it's okay. And then when you call it out, like, wait, then they start attacking you and not looking at the dysfunction of the family. They start attacking you because they don't like how you've said it or they don't like what you've said because it goes against what they want to believe about their families. The family can take you down with them. What did Jesus talk about? Jesus said, leave your family and come follow me. It's not talking about hating your family, but you have to live your life. You have to live your life for that creator. And in Max Lucado's commentary from Romans, everyone has sinned and fallen short of God's glorious standard, and all need to be made right with God through God's grace that is a free gift. So when I talk about, oh, people calling Jesus, but they're so far from what Jesus's life was about in terms of being merciful to family members who are going through mental health illnesses or trying to seek information to help that person, they talk about the person crazy, the person this. Is that what Jesus is about? No. So when you call Jesus, you better be careful what you're calling because that same thing you're doing is going to boomerang right back at you. It's going to get right back at you. So what is grace? This is what Max Lucado is talking about when he quoted Romans chapter 3, verse 23 to 24. He has a commentary and he has a question. What is grace? It's what someone gives us out of the goodness of their hearts, not out of the perfection of ours. The story of grace is the good news that says that when we come, he gives. That's what grace is. The story of grace is the good news that speaks of that speaks to I and I. When I and I come, the Most High is going to give. That's what grace is. Okay? And that is what we have to show each other. We have to be gracious. We have to be kind. We have to stop putting each other down. We have to stop looking at folks with mental health as crazy. We have to look at ourselves and say, what can I do to support this person? What can I do to be a light for this person? So May 15th today, the Max Lucado's Walking with the Savior is talking about grace is a free gift. It's free. So take it, receive it, and give it, and give it to someone. Give grace, give mercy, give kindness, give these things. I'm deleting folks who are not gracious, who are not merciful and kind. I'm deleting you out of my Facebook. So when you see you've been deleted, it's because you do not represent what I'm about. And you're going to have to look at my representations through a different kind of platform, because grace is a free gift. It's a free gift. And I agree with Max Lucado that it's what someone gives us out of the goodness of their hearts, not out of the perfection of ours. So grace is a powerful thing. Stop it. Stop it. You just want to be out there with your friends. That's what he wants. He's hearing a dog out there and he wants to go out there and be with his friends. Stop. Stop. So this ends the psalm today. My big head boy. So let's outro with Chant a Psalm a Day. Here we go. And the verse of the day, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 5. It's all talking about we have to humble ourselves, right? We have to humble ourselves because we don't know the path of the wind. We don't know certain things. We're not knowledgeable of how the Most High works. So, because the Most High is the maker of all things. Selah and Selah again. Have a blessed day, everybody. Go chant a psalm a day. Go ahead and go chant a psalm a day, folks. Everyone, embody who you are calling. Embody the name that you are calling. You're calling Jesus in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name. Well, you better eat like Jesus. You better walk like Jesus. You better talk like Jesus. You better be about what Jesus was about if you're calling on that name. Those of you who calling on Buddha, Muhammad, all of these names, you better be living that way. I call on the name of righteousness, mercy, kindness, and love. I don't have labels, okay? I call on the ancients of days. So I give thanks. Selah and Selah again.